Hi everyone, I'm Danielle with Trinity Readings. Sorry. We are going to do the Gemini March Tarotscope. So keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you find that the reading doesn't resonate, you can always check your moon, rising, or Venus placements because sometimes those will resonate more. And I do offer personal readings. You can get all that information in the description box. So we're just going to check in on your energy, anything to expect for the month, anything your guides want you to be aware of. This month, for most of March, will be in Mercury retrograde in Pisces. The biggest thing with this particular retrograde, Pisces is your emotional world. Pisces is your intuition. Pisces is those deep feelings, right? Mercury is Gemini. Mercury is thought. Mercury is logic, right? So the way to effectively get through this retrograde easily is to try to keep your heart and mind in alignment and in agreement. Let your thoughts gravitate more towards what is going to support your your emotional dreams, your yeah. Okay, so let's see, what are the, for you, I think that this retrograde period, it would be important to lean on your intuition a little bit more because you're likely just naturally a very logical person, and that's not a bad thing at all. But with this period of time, there being such heavy Pisces energy, because we are also in Pisces season, and Mars is in Mars is in Aquarius. Venus is in Pisces. I think there's something else in Pisces. Anyway, with such strong Piscean energy, if you could try to lean into your intuitive world and your emotional world a little bit more during this time, and try to just experiment with making more choices based on what you're picking up intuitively. And that doesn't mean that you have to every single choice. I'm not saying completely change the way you do things, but that would make this period of time flow more easily for you. All right, so let's see what are the messages that are wanting to come through for you. Anything your higher self or your guides want you to know. The way you clear karma, the way that you get good karma is action. Karma isn't really a punishment. Karma is how you respond in difficult situations, and making sure that you are always responding and moving in a way that is aligned with your goals, your ideals, your values. It's so, a lot of times when bad things happen or when we're faced with conflict, we tend to assume that we're being punished. We tend to assume that we're being faced with some sort of a lesson, but a lot of times that conflict in and of itself and how you respond to that conflict determines your karma. And so if you're faced with conflict, and continuously choose what you're wanting to align with, you receive blessings and you receive good luck. And so I feel like you might be faced with some sort of difficulty this month, but what you need to know in that difficulty, in that conflict, is that there is a solution in this. There is a blessing in this. There is some sort of like good luck. There's some sort of blessing in disguise, but it matters how you are choosing to perceive it. And so if you have a tendency to automatically get frustrated or have like that gut punch reaction, you might just want to like take a step back, and try not to like analyze or judge the conflict or the situation. Try to just remind yourself there is a blessing in this. There is something of value in this if I can just not react or respond from a space of like fear or anxiety. Let's see if we can get more clarity on this. Honestly, I feel like there is something that you're already connected to that is very much a blessing, or very much lining you up with the blessing or the wish fulfillment that you're looking for. But it's something that I feel like is so far out of your comfort zone, or it's making you feel so vulnerable. You don't feel like you don't have a lot of experience in it. And so it's like you're perceiving it to be some, like you're not necessarily perceiving it in the right light. And I feel like it's simply because it's there's something that's making you feel very vulnerable. But you're very much in alignment with exactly what you've been asking for. I do feel that it does require you fully stepping out of your comfort zone in some way. It might even require you having to end something or cut something off that you didn't anticipate you would have to end. But it feels very much like there's something in front of you that either you're assuming is too good to be true, or in order to pursue this, it requires that you completely step out of your comfort zone or put yourself in possibly a vulnerable position. But I also feel that it's like it's meant for you to move forward with this by faith, but I also feel that you might have a little bit of a skewed relationship with faith itself. You might associate faith with suffering, or having faith meaning that you have to suffer through like divine timing, but you're not meant to suffer. You're meant to like fully. Let's see how this is going to play out for the month for you. You're showing up as King of Pentacles, so you're in a very solid place, like you're in a very well established place. You've put in the work, like you're in a very strong position. I do feel that you might be looking for more long-term stability, looking more towards your long-term future. I kind of feel like you've been working at something for a very long time. You've stayed committed to something for a very long time, stayed committed to like loyalty, the way you show up. And I kind of feel like the next step requires like a little bit of a change, like a little bit of a change in your routine, or a change in the way that you are showing up, or requiring you to like show more vulnerability or connect more on an emotional level. But it's like you're also like trying to fiercely protect what you already have. The way that you're moving is keeping you comfortable. It's keeping things solid. It's keeping things structured, but it's also not bringing in the emotional satisfaction that you're looking for. It's not really giving you what you're really wanting. Like everything you're doing is helping you sustain where you're at. But I think that there's a part of you that is wanting more fulfillment, wanting more passion. But again, it requires like a level of vulnerability. You're working very hard to sustain, and you're doing it. But you're sustaining it where it's at. Does that make sense? Like you're not feeling like you're getting your needs met. You're not feeling like you're getting the satisfaction that you're looking for. But I feel like it requires for you to show up in a more vulnerable space and be okay with like things being a little bit messy. Yeah, like you can have what you want. You're very much in alignment to have what you want. I feel like there's a couple things. There's a need to be more clear about what you want, a need to be more expressive about what you want, be opening up to what you want. But I feel like you're anticipating there being some sort of challenge, or you're anticipating there being some sort of conflict. And honestly, I feel like it's because you've been fighting so hard to sustain where you're at now, or to get where you're at now, and you don't want to I also, for some of you, like I feel like you're like desperately trying to manifest something, like manifest communication, manifest like somebody doing something, or somebody showing up for you in a certain way. But it's like I don't feel like you're even letting your guard down enough for that to flow. Does that, you know what I mean? it's like you're taking the I don't chase, I attract affirmation like way too seriously. And you're like, without realizing it, you're refusing to chase and like boxing yourself in and locking the door and swallowing the key. And saying to yourself, if somebody really wants me, they're going to break down the wall. But that creates imbalance. That creates a lack of fairness. It's energy matches, like attracts like. So if you want somebody to be more open with you, you have to be willing to be more open. For some of you, I feel like somebody has been showing you a lot of loyalty, or you've been showing somebody else a lot of loyalty, and there has been growth, and it's been very slow growth, but it's like protective growth. And so the satisfaction aspect of it, the fulfillment aspect of it, is kind of being ignored. Yeah, your guidance is Six of Pentacles. It's kind of like a message, like you're getting what you're giving out. And everybody's like, oh, matching energy. You don't want to overgive, obviously, but say, for example, you want your partner to pay more attention to your needs, right? Valid. And so what you do to get that accomplished is you're paying attention to your partner's needs and doing everything that your partner needs, assuming that your partner is going to get the hint and do the exact same thing. But not everybody processes things in the same way, right? So, and it's still being done in an indirect way, right? You're saying, this is what I want, and instead of speaking on what I want, I'm going to do all of these things and hope that they'll get the hint, right? Or I want this person to express feelings for me, or express their feelings to me, but I don't want to do that first because I don't want to scare them. Understandable. So I'm going to just keep hinting around and making all these posts hinting around that this is what I want. And so you're, in your attempt to get what you want, you're being passive aggressive, not intentionally, right? But you're putting out passive aggressive hints, and then your partner is responding by being passive aggressive, because you're approaching it from a place of defensiveness, right? And that energy is interpreted, and that energy is interpreted as, oh, I need to be careful. And so, and I feel like you're really trying to be focused on equal energy exchange. I just feel like it's being done in a very practical way. Like, I give him $20 and he only gives me $10 back. And not like the broader scope of like what you're actually wanting to accomplish within the relationship. Because what you're not seeing is the Wheel of Fortune is saying that this is kind of a cycle. This is a repetitive cycle that you've been in. So if you want to get out of the cycle, you have to recognize the moments within the cycle that you are moving from fear or moving out of protective energy, and be willing to be vulnerable. The way to get out of the cycle is to see the conflict as an opportunity to approach it differently. And with the Three of Swords and the Seven of Swords and the Ace of Cups, it feels like you're avoiding a conversation, or you're avoiding something to keep the peace, but it's something that's actually causing you a lot of pain. And if you could just be more open about it, you will probably be very pleasantly satisfied. It's like there's communication being avoided, or there's something being avoided that is causing a lot of pain, or there's something that's not being directly communicated that's causing a lot of pain. You're sitting in the background suffering and upset because this person is not acknowledging your emotional needs, but you also haven't made those emotional needs maybe as clear as you maybe think, or you're not giving your, like, you're wanting the person to be more supportive, but you're also projecting this very fiercely independent energy that doesn't leave space for support. You know what I mean? Love you guys. Bye-bye.